Hola amigos, bien o no, y saludos desde Medellín. Hoy el tema es creatividad, creativity, y cómo nosotros puedo encontrarle. Sí, ese es el tema de hoy. Okay, so hello again from Medellín. A bit later this evening, but there we go. So the theme today is creativity. Creativity, and in a way, how to find it. And why do we need it? Okay, well, let's think about that. For the point of view of us trying to improve our language, often we need to be quite creative and inventive and seek inspiration in some way to come up with new ways to improve our studies, to make our studies more interesting, this kind of thing. Think up new content. Because, as we said before, this is a long journey. So pretty much every day we need to think of some new aspect to try, to practice, so that we can still make progress and not get bored by the same repetition of stuff. So in that sense it's important. But how do we get that type of inspirational creativity in the first place? How can we do that? Well, let's look at that a bit more generally to start with, perhaps. So generally, the whole idea about inspiration and creativity could be seen as a bit of a circle. You know, you have one and then you have the other. So you could have that flash of inspiration which then leads you to creativity, or you could be creating something and then have a further flash of inspiration. But in truth, if we try and look at it more of finding a practice we can follow to help us perhaps generate more ideas, then that in itself becomes a creative process. So some people like going to a particular place. You know, there are a lot of writers who only write in a particular room, or perhaps they go to a library or something like that. Particular surroundings are important. Some people use music to try and sort of tune out background noise, help them concentrate their thoughts. Personally, I find, honestly, if I go for a walk in the evening after dinner like I've just done now, that short sort of half an hour walkabout is enough to calm my mind from the thoughts of the day. And at some point during the walk, when my mind is quite clear, I'm not really thinking about much else, I'm just walking along, usually then I will get that flash of inspiration. I'll suddenly think, that's the theme I'm going to use today. And that's how we came up with the theme for today. So maybe something like that, maybe some kind of like a ritual practice you do, something to clear your mind a bit, and there we go. But how else can we do that? I mean, like, let's say you're sat at home, you've been working at home all day, not much has happened. Perhaps the most exciting thing you did was get up and go to the fridge. Well, okay, as far as our language learning goes, let's write about that. Because honestly, one of the more useful ways of generating more information is to think back on your day today. Think carefully about what happened, see how clearly you can describe it, all those events, all those conversations. Somewhere in there may well be an unusual event or something that sticks out to you as a novel kind of thing that happened, something different. And that could be the seed, the start point for you to generate some other practice. It could be a new food you tried. So okay, now you can add that to your vocabulary. And okay, so let's say, how do we ask for that? What kind of recipes would you use with that? These kind of things. And if you really are just stuck with going to the fridge, well, describe the fridge. Try and describe it in as much detail as you can. Things that are in it, this kind of thing. Writing things down can be a good way to look at it, because sometimes keeping these ideas in our head can be a bit, we tend to lose track of them. But if we see them written down, often that in itself may trigger, look, I see connections here with these ideas. That might trigger some more useful ideas you can follow up on. So there we go, a couple of thoughts to think about there. Clearly, I think being creative in how we study, finding new ways to look to improve, ways we can extend our practice, feel more confident with our new language. It's very important, and we really can be quite creative in how we do that. I think we said in some earlier videos, even quite mundane situations like going to the supermarket or going on a bus trip, something like that. You can add variety to that if you try really hard. And beyond all of that, just describing in detail what you did today is a test. That's not as easy as it looks. So there we go, some thoughts on creativity. Hope you find this one helpful. Déjame saber en los comentarios, como siempre. But for now, from Medellin, it's Cheerio.